It happened an age ago. But when I recall, I see it true. On a night of wintry fog, the rune of death was stolen. And the demigods began to fall. Starting with Godwyn the Golden. Queen Marika was driven to the brink.
Now, a lot of people are convinced that Marika might have had a hand in Night of the Black Knives. And I'm not saying that she didn't, but how do we know that Miquella didn't have a hand in the Night of the Black Knives as well? We do, as we know, Marika does have close ties to the Black Knife Assassins, but think about it, who also would have had close ties to them? Marika's kids, most likely Miquella. Heck, let's not forget that there's a whole Black Knife Assassin that tries to stop you from getting into the Halleck tree when you go up there. Now, let me try and paint the picture. With Miquella and Ranni both being Empyreans, they both had to meet each other at some point prior to the Night of the Black Knives. Seeing how Ranni didn't want to be next in line to be a vessel for the greater will, and didn't want the fingers controlling her, what if Miquella and Ranni came up with a plan for Ranni to shed her skin? Think about it like this, who also would have had knowledge on shedding their Empyrean skin? Most likely Miquella would have had this knowledge. So it would have been Ranni, Miquella, and Iji, I believe, came up with the plan for the Night of the Black Knives. Heck, now this is going to be a complete stretch. What if Melina fought Malakath, giving Ranni the opportunity to steal the Rune of Death, but with the cost of Melina being slain, burned, and bodiless? Now, you know who else is burned and bodiless? Ranni. Heck, Miquella could have bewitched the assassins to carry out the deed, shedding Ranni's flesh and killing Godwyn. Now, why would Miquella want Godwyn dead? It could have been he was trying to cure him of the death blight that he had, which I believe Godwyn had. Heck, maybe even Miquella was even jealous of Marika's affection for Godwyn, seeing as Godwyn was her favorite child. All we know is throughout the game it is stated that Godwyn was supposed to die a true death. Remember what Melina's armor set did say, Miquella was the most fearsome of the Empyreans, which makes me think, what did Miquella do that was so fearsome? Maybe his smarts that makes him so fearsome? Or maybe Ranni had the assassins target Godwyn as one final FU to Queen Marika before, and the Golden Runner before dying. Now this is just super loaded, but there has to be some type of connection between Ranni and Miquella, seeing how she does give you the spirit calling bell, and I think there has to be multiple people involved in the Night of the Black Knives, not just Ranni and the assassins. It had to be multiple people involved in that night. This is a speculation theory. This is something I was thinking about because like everybody is so convinced that Marika has something to do with the Night of the Black Knives. I'm not saying that she didn't. She probably did. She probably planned the whole thing out with Ranni. But it's just, I can't envision a scenario in which Marika will want Godwyn dead. Like, it's just, to me in the game, it was stated that he had to die. It was some foreseeable reason that Godwyn had to die. It had to be him. It couldn't be anyone else. It just, to me, I just think Miquella is a little too, the game paints Miquella as in a sense of Miquella can do no wrong. Like, it's also like he's like the perfect character, and I don't believe for a second that Miquella is as innocent and as perfect as the game is painting him to be. Miquella did something on that night. Whether Miquella had a hand in it, well, Miquella helped plan it out. Miquella did something to make him so fearsome that people are like that. Even the game is basically suggesting that he's one of the most fearsome of Empyreans. You don't get fearsome from just being nice to everybody. He had to have did something, whether it was having Godwyn slain or, well, whether we'll get more context in the Night of the Black Knives. Ranni did not plan that whole night alone. Remember, only thing we know is that Ronnie created the Black Knives themselves. Ronnie didn't say that. As far as I'm convinced, Ronnie never said anything about having Godwin slain. Only thing she confessed to was making the knives, which I think the knives honestly was. And the reason I say that, I think Melina may have fought Malakath going up like to that point is because the blade of calling, which was Melina's weapon up until that point. I think that blade was basically that blade could have been what Ronnie used to forge the black knives, because she had to have use basically a template for the knives. So she had to use something to forge the black knives, and I think the blade of calling was what she used to basically like transform them into like the death slaying blades. Like I said before, this is just a speculation. This is just a theory. This is just a like my one of my just like boneheaded theories on like the game itself. When it comes to Night of the Black Knives, to me it just seems like it was way more hands in that than just Ronnie and America. I think it was a whole that was pieced together by in my humblest opinion, it was pieced together by Miquella, EG, because he's the guy that basically he's the war guy. He knows war. It was by Miquella, Ronnie, and EG. And whether you want to say that the Black Knives assassins were down with it or not, I like those three in particular had a hand in that night, in my opinion.